Thank you to the Kraken Black Spice Rum for sponsoring this video.
Just in time for Halloween, the Kraken limited edition black roast coffee rum. This rum comes in a satanic 66.6 proof. It crawled out of the depths of hell and into your glass. It's unexpectedly rich, potent, and smooth. Try this new legend for a limited time because once it vanishes, it may never return. Available now, US only.
Release the Kraken!
And happy Halloween.
Oh.
All right, so Demon Night is basically Tales from the Crypt, the movie.
Yeah, I think it's the first of their movies. I think they had...
There's Bordello of Blood also.
Yeah, and I think it was supposed to be a trilogy, but we'll talk about some of that at the end. But
the show, obviously, a great show, HBO, based on the comics. I really love the show and the cartoon on Saturday mornings, I think. I did a top 10 episode a long time ago on my favorite Tales from the Crypt episodes, but I never covered Demon Night yet, so this is good.
Yeah, I love Tales from the Crypt was great just because they had so many good actors and extras and the stories and, you know, just like you're getting like more of Creepshow kind of, you know, it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, and you know, I mentioned a lot of times, love Creepshow. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, anthology horror film.
Yeah, I love anthology.
Because this one is not an anthology, even though it was based on an anthology series.
Yeah.
Demon Night is just a full feature-length story. Yeah. Tales from the Crypt style, I guess.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's bookended with the opening and the Crypt Keeper, and it opens with like a fake, like this woman murdered her boyfriend or whatever, and he gets out of like a bathtub that's filled with like chemicals, like she, like, you know, was gonna melt him Walter White style, you know?
Yeah.
And he comes up to kill her, but then the Crypt Keeper's like, it turns out to be like a set, and he's like, cut, this, we're doing it wrong, and says, hey, this is a movie, and here's how it goes.
I like that part where the Crypt Keeper's the director. Yeah. And there's a weird thing which you don't see often because usually, like, you know, the puppet, he's like behind the like the table or whatever. But here you see him like walking around, and he's kind of chroma keyed into the scene. So it's like a weird, like...
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a miniature or if it's like someone, like, they put the head on his body or something, but it's really weird.
Yeah, it looks strange, but it's cool.
And then the movie starts, I forgot what song opens it. I thought it was A Perfect Circle. I forgot what music song opens it, but it's like a car chase with William Sadler and then Billy Zane's chasing him, and they're like two like souped up cars going down the highway. And William Sadler runs out of gas, and then Billy Zane rams into him at like 150 miles an hour. But William Sadler gets away, and that's kind of how it starts.
I mean, plot in a nutshell, a bunch of people are led to this house or hotel or whatever it is.
It's a hotel that's also an old church, but it being a church has nothing to do with the movie, even though the movie has to do with religious stuff.
There's basically this demon disguised as a human, who's Billy Zane, who comes to steal this key that can open the gates of hell.
There's 7 cosmic keys represented by like the 7 stars that are in the logo and also on the person's hand. And they open some sort of gateway, or they control the universe, and then it brings the darkness back from like the Big Bang or Let There Be a Light or whatever. It's like religious, but not. It's weird.
I mean, well, there's all those weird like crucifixion flashbacks and stuff. It's like...
Yeah, I mean, we can get a little bit into that earlier, but like, you know, the main character is William Sadler, and he has the final cosmic key or whatever you want to call it that looks like a, you know, like rosary, like crucifix type key.
Sounds like the plot to a video game, not a movie.
Kind of, it does. And are you familiar with William Sadler at all?
No.
He's the bad guy in Die Hard 2. He was the dickbag in Section 31 in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He usually plays a bad guy. So it's weird seeing him play like a street, thuggish good guy. And then Billy Zane usually always plays a bad guy, like in Titanic, unless he's playing the Phantom. That's for Tony. They're great like character actors in their own right, especially Billy Zane, but it's good seeing them together in this.
And by the way, another Dick Miller movie.
Man, from Gremlins to...
Yeah, we should just have a full Dick Miller Appreciation Month.
I love Dick. He's awesome.
Rest in peace, Dick Miller.
Yeah. And of course it was directed by Ernest Dickerson, who also did Juice, the Tupac movie, and he also did Bulletproof with Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler, which is supposed to be like their like action vehicle, and it was awful.
I wish we saw more of the Crypt Keeper as the director. Like, I wish it would cut to him more, like making puns and stuff.
Oh, you mean like if he was directing Demon Knight? Like if the whole movie had like things in and out of it?
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, and like if like he's like complaining about it or something, or like they would. It would be really cool if they like did a scene or something, then it would come back to him being like, no, that's not right, and then it would like redo it a different way.
So it's like if two people were getting into like an interesting dialogue and then he would interrupt and ruin everything?
I wish I was voiced by the Crypt Keeper.
So the good guy has the cosmic key and he's hiding out in this motel that used to be a church, and there's all these other characters there. There's like this prostitute girl and a mail worker that you find out later was going to go postal and shoot everyone at the postal office. You have like the jock guy who's with the girl. You have Jada Pinkett who's on work release and has to work there from prison or something because she's a thief, but they don't really go into that. Then you have the lady that runs the place who's pretty cool. And then you have Dick Miller. So they're kind of like a group, and you find out, because there's 7 keys, you need 7 people, and one of them's going to end up being the key bearer later, which they don't really go into much.
Creature effects are amazing.
Yeah, very much like The Thing.
Yeah, and like it's the same level as like the Crypt Keeper himself. Like it's just really good effects.
And it's impressive. Like there's no holds barred. Like there's this little like kid in the movie. You think he's gonna survive, but no, they turn him into a creature and then he fucking explodes, which was pretty cool. The cops investigate the crash. And they end up back at the motel, and everything kind of goes to a boiling point where Billy Zane, the bad guy, is working with the cops. Like, hey, we need to get this guy. He's a criminal. The cops are like, listen, both of your cars were stolen, we found out, and we're going to bring you both to jail, which makes Billy Zane kind of freak out, and he punches right through the cop's head, and then rips the cop's head off while it's on his hand, and then uses the cop's head on his hand like a boxing glove and punches somebody, which was pretty amazing.
The only thing is, as I watch it though, as it goes on, it's like feature length, I kind of forget that it's based on Tales from the Crypt. Yeah. Like I just keep thinking
It reminds me a lot of From Dusk Till Dawn.
Me too.
Because they're in like a temple that's now something else.
Yeah.
And also,
could From Dusk Till Dawn have been the Tales from the Crypt movie?
It was supposed to be. It was supposed to be
really?
the third one or second one.
Huh.
And then instead it got, put somewhere else, and instead they did Bordello of Blood. And actually at the end of this movie, Demon Knight, the Crypt Keeper comes up and goes, "Hello kids," and the next movie is going to be Dead Easy. Which they then later changed the title to Fat Tuesday, and then they ended up not doing it. And then they did Bordello of Blood, and then there was supposed to be another third one, which then became something else. So it didn't really work out, so now the only 2 Tales from the Crypt real movies you have are this and Bordello of Blood. Bordello of Blood has a lot to do with From Dusk Till Dawn too, because it's about a house of vampires that have been there forever. So it's kind of weird. This movie feels like a mix, the 2 movies.
I'd like to see another one. Like I'd like them to make another Tales from the Crypt movie.
Yeah, now's the time.
Yeah, I mean we just saw John Casser recently at a couple of years ago at the Nickel City Con in Buffalo.
In Buffalo, yeah.
And he still does the voice spot on.
Oh yeah, he was like doing other announcements.
Yeah.
So he's like, like half price beers or like a
He was just walking around doing the voice. I'm like, I mean, they could totally do this again. They just have to, because the puppet itself, you could just do that for the end of time.
Yeah.
So if they just have him doing the voice, they could make a ton more of these.
Yeah, so it's a good time to bring back this actual Tales from the Crypt, maybe on Shudder, but I guess they didn't want 2 competing things with Creepshow, and and I guess a lot of people are really into like the pulpy horror anymore anyway, so I don't know. So what are your favorite parts of this film?
Every scene with Dick Miller.
I like when the cop breaks up the couple having sex and the girl's lighting the guy's like nipples up with a car battery. I was like 11 when I saw this. I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. It's like with this movie, you ever see a movie that you like, but you just can't remember it very much?
Yeah.
No matter how many times I've seen this, I mean, I must have seen it like 3 times all the way through. It doesn't stick in my memory as much.
It's paced weird.
It is. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in it.
There's a lot of cool scenes, but the possession scenes are awesome because Billy Zane can get into people's minds and turn, put you in like your own little like music video. Like Dick Miller gets his and gets possessed because he puts him in this area where there's all these topless women, and he tricks him. He's like, "Hey there, Uncle Willie, you want to get yourself a drink?" And it's like this fantastic scene Or Jada Pinkett Smith, he puts him in like this nice, like you're gonna travel the world and whatever. And then the prostitute lady gets like taken because she's just wants love and like actual affection, and he kind of takes advantage of her. So then she gets possessed because he gets let her into her mind or something. So that's how they get into the building and through the seal. They trick the humans. You find out that to kill the demons, you have to shoot them in the eyes, and then they shoot out this green lightning.
There's a lot of cool stuff like that in it.
Yeah. And the other thing is you also find out William Sadler, the main character, is actually like 100-something years old because he fought in World War I. And I guess one of the original bearers of the cosmic key, because I guess you're immortal once you're the bearer of the key. And he died in World War I, and he passed it on to him. And then at the end of the movie, he passes it on to Jada Pinkett. She becomes the new Demon Knight. So I'd love to see a sequel to this film where, possibly she goes to like the Vatican and like the key opens something. Like I think there's more you could do with the Demon Knight series, but I don't know.
If you're into 80s and 90s horror that tend to have lots of comedy and creature effects and like just that really, over the top nature, this is like definitely recommended. It's not in my heart as much as Creepshow, Return of the Living Dead, Evil Dead 2, and From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Like it's not that level, but still it feels a lot of fun.
Yeah, it feels in the same ballpark. Like it can play with them. And I know a lot of people that hate this movie, and I'm like, how?
Oh, really?
Like it's really it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I could see someone being like, okay, the plot is a little all over the place, but I mean, it's a lot of fun.
And Billy Zane is, I guess he's like a demon or like Beelzebub, or like his goal is to get a promotion by getting the key. And I guess he's been chasing William Sadler for like 100 years, because that's what it kind of feels like. And he finally has him, and he's like hilarious in this movie. I think it's Billy Zane's best film.
Oh yeah! Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to us babble. I hope you enjoyed it this month. Just have a happy Halloween, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween!